I'm Victoria Knight coming to you from Purdue University College of Veterinary Medicine, League of VetaHumanz. I'll be your host today on VetaHumanz Live today. We are following up on our journey with our VetaHuman in training, Celestial Seraph. So welcome and thank you for being on our show today. Of course. So kind of update us. I know we're getting towards the end. So kind of update us. What week are we in, and how's it been going?
This week has been, I've been like studying every single day. It's like right now with some friends and we're studying to each other because we've just got to the point where it's like I can't focus on studying alone. I need someone around to go through the same struggle as I am.
That's great. Yeah, especially doing group study kind of helps, especially when you're just over it and you just can't even focus anymore. That's really good. Well, I'm glad. So, kind of talking about I know we just came back from our break. So, how did you spend your break? How was it?
Studying. I like stayed. Yeah, I stayed over like in Latin area. I was supposed to see like how the emergency medicine schedule was gonna be, but the vet tech see like I don't know what happened, but the vet tech was supposed to like rearrange the schedule. So I have to like reach out to her again. But the plan was to like study and then go work at the hospital in the meantime. But in the end, I just ended up like studying, ended up going to Dr. Thompson's house for Thanksgiving dinner with some of my friends and like spending time on the phone with my family and friends from back home. I mean, a lot of the times when they were on the phone, I was also studying. At least they were like there. So it
Yeah.
was comforting.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. And at least at least you got some studying done. So it kind of helps alleviate some of the stress at least this week. So, I know your big day is coming. It's December 7th, if we're not mistaken. Yes. So, how are you feeling, and what are you doing for your final preparations?
I've been practicing my like hand techniques and pacing literally every day. So over the break, like Thanksgiving break, I also made sure to practice a couple times, like every day. And then now that it's like the week of, I like do it like once before I go to bed. Practice like everything that I've gone through. I'm pretty good at what I'm doing right now. I know what I'm like doing, so it doesn't really take any more than like 10 minutes since I do like every routine like at least once. I'm doing pretty good on that. So I feel great. All my friends are like excited for me to like come over. They're like, "Oh my god, I can't wait for your class to be over like on Friday so you can just hurry up and drive over."
So good. And then you get to, yeah, and you got to update us how it goes. Especially, yes. Well, that's good. Well, I'm glad practicing makes perfect. So that's really good. And I'm glad you feel confident, and that's definitely going to help you. So kind of talking, I know you kind of we were talking about physiology last podcast. So what strategies have you been doing to kind of master physiology, and how's it been going in general?
This is like done so far is like technically like as of right now to study. Normally I do study groups, but there are people who also just like sit down and just like and maybe like occasionally we'll say something. So that's like I don't know, like a mental break whenever we're like deep into physio. But other than that, the technique hasn't like changed or like make it happy. And I do active recall.
I'm glad because I know you were making Anki a goal of yours. So I'm glad that you're continuing to use it. So I know this past month has kind of been long, and everything with the break and anything. But what has kind of been your biggest challenge over the past break, like the past month, and like how have you been overcoming it?
To study, that's hard. I've never been one to like get burnout. I mean, ever since I was like young, my parents have always like had it on me that we study from this time to this time. So, and that was like even before like first grade. So I've always had that mindset. And I've never had burnout except maybe like once in my life. And I'm just like making sure I don't reach that point. So studying with other people or just like taking a break, maybe calling my brother to complain for like a good 10 minutes and then go right back. That's what's been helping me like go through or like when I'm like I've just had enough, I'm going to the gym because that I have to go to the gym at 7. That's the schedule, that's the routine.
Yes, venting and going to the gym is a great way to like release kind of that stress and kind of just yeah, I don't blame you. That's a good way to kind of just take a moment and just relax and kind of disconnect. Well, I'm glad. Is there anything else you've kind of done that you've enjoyed the most this past month? It could be academically or personal.
Just like practicing. I feel like most of my time this past has been really focusing on what I need to know for my taekwondo and then also studying. Like one or the other, gotta pick, But the only thing is like the taekwondo doesn't feel like a chore because it's like a hobby. It's what I like to do. So I treat it as like my break from all the veterinary study.
Yeah, I could see that. And kind of talking about kind of classes and everything, what do you think has like been the most interesting thing you've learned so far in this past month?
Like dentistry for anatomy, like we just got through an assignment. When I first got into like learning what specialties was in veterinary medicine, I was first thinking surgery and dentistry was gonna be my thing because like I don't know something about the teeth. Fun fact: I have never been to a dentist in my life, so just like it intrigues me to like learn about teeth and then like see how that goes because I've always wanted to go to a dentist. Like it's just cool having that experience, all that curiosity and stability that interests me. So,
Yeah, and it's even cooler how like even like dogs like they get literally like dental care just as humans. I think
yeah,
it's really
it's
cool to see
fun.
what we do for them too.
Yeah, when I like back home as a vet tech, the doctor would be like, oh, if you watch so many teeth bleedings, come scale this teeth, and she'd just leave me, and I'd have my music on, and I'm just like deep in an animal's mouth, just like cleaning, and it'd be fun. It's just like time to yourself. It's relaxing. So.
And then kind of like what has been like one of the best labs that you've done so far since like last podcast? It can be like wet labs from clubs or in class or if you have one in maybe you have one.
I feel like the only labs that I've had, I haven't done any like wet labs from class. The only labs would be like maybe VSEC stuff or anatomy. And I think the anatomy stuff that it was like repro stuff, and I was like, it's not really my thing. So maybe something from VSEC, maybe. I feel like maybe the equine venipuncture one, like using a vacutainer. I've never had to use a vacutainer back home when I was like out with the equine vet. So that was an interesting experience. I mean, we don't have any horses back home to begin with, but using a vacutainer, that was like a nice, beautiful way to just get so much blood.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so fast too, like how you just put multiple tubes and it just collects it on
Yeah.
the
And you're like,
I
oh,
thought it was
done.
like yeah, that's so I know. And then kind of what has been like one thing you've done for yourself since the last podcast?
Uh, since the last, ooh, um, I finally finished watching Arcane.
Yes, you did mention that. Yeah.
Yeah, I finally finished watching that. It was beautiful, even though I have no idea what League of Legends is. Like, I still like I talked to my brother about it, and he showed me like gameplay, and I was like, "This is like nothing like the show. Let me just stick to the show, really." So that was something I did for myself. Like, I made sure on my free time, if I wasn't leisurely reading, I needed to finish Arcane, and it was a masterpiece. Like both seasons.
And have you done any more reading? I know that was also like on your like list.
Yeah, I also finished the physical book that I had called Kindred, and then it had like there's like this ending part that's like for educational purposes. That's like, oh, this is where we got our sources from this book and this book. And I checked those two books out. It wasn't really like books, but it was like a passage, like a narrative written by someone historically because it's a historical book. And I looked into those two, and they were like nice quick reads, and it gave me a lot to like think about, or like a lot that I learned, especially in vocabulary, because it was like a lot of archaic terms I'd never heard of, and I had to like go on Google and be like, what does this mean? And I learned. So
Good. I know that was like on your list and I know you were like had just started the show and wanted to finish the book. So that's I'm glad you were able to do that and kind of accomplish that. And I know kind of talk about personal care. I know you did mention obviously you're still exercising, kind of making sure you're ready for your big day. How's your eating habits and kind of everything in general?
okay, so gym great, everything's great. Eating habits, I feel like this week has been like it's not like I've been eating poorly. It's just that because of Thanksgiving break and I had all this like leftover food or whatever from like Thanksgiving dinner, I didn't need to make food this Sunday since that's meal prep day. So it's kind of like I've been having leftovers. And leftovers isn't bad, but it's just like not my coordinated. Here's my carb. Here's my protein. Here's my veggies. It's kind of been like, oh yeah, I need to eat that before it spoils because Thanksgiving is over. But I have been eating.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, it took us several days to finish our leftovers, so and at least it's good. You kind of save some time cooking for a bit too.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then, what is your goal for next month?
Besides getting my red belt, I'm gonna say finally being able to like step foot in the emergency hospital for Purdue. Yeah, because I'm scheduling around that, and I don't want to like I'm supposed to treat winter break like it's our break. We deserved it after the super long semester, but I also need to like dip my toes into the emergency room aspect since that's what I want to specialize in, or at least that's what I strongly believe I specialize in. And there's only one way to find out, which is working in there. So
Yes, agreed. And that's the best way to start. Kind of, getting your foot in the door and seeing how it is, and see if that's something, yeah, you definitely want to pursue for sure. Do you have anything you want to share for our audience, whether there's like experiences or words of
let burnout get to you. Like, even if you know, like, a certain way is, like, how to do things, and you're just feeling very mentally tired, do something different that you don't normally do. Like, how I normally study by myself, but I was just like, I can't do this anymore. I need to study with some people before I explode. And that has helped me a lot. So,
Perfect. I'm sure they will love that advice. Perfect. So I want to say thank you so much for being on the show. You can learn more about the other lead of VetaHumanz as superheroes at VetaHumanz.org. If you like this episode, please subscribe, like, and share with your friends. And remember, use your powers for good.